St. Patrick's, who was a saint for Ireland. Well, St. Patrick's was a worldwide known Christian figure. And even though he has a holiday named after him, people don't know too much about him. Even though you think he was born in Ireland, he was actually born in Britain. Interesting fact. So I forgot to mention something. Actually born in Britain during the 4th century or the 300s, which was the 4th century. So even though he was from Britain, he wasn't a Brit. I think that's what it's called. Technically, at least. Because during the time that he was there and lived there, some places in Britain were owned by the Romans, which included his parents and himself. So, yeah. It is not known if, even though they had been in the Roman astracy, it was intuitious, I'm gonna go with that, Celtic, or had been from the modern day Italy. St. Patrick, he would write in Latin sometimes, so when he signed it, his name would be whatever his name is in Latin, Plantricki. And some people thought he was actually from Marin Squat. That's what it's called. Marin Squat. I'm gonna go with that. So when he was 16, he was kidnapped, captured, abducted, whatever, by Irish people and sold as a slave to cilantro. I don't know the word. He was sold to a priest, which some people thought he was taken to this place, Mount Antrim. He was actually moved to a place called Count Mahalo in Kagima. What was it called? Craigula. Hi. My dog just joined me. After 6 years almost, he escaped. He said that he thought he heard the voice of God in his dream, telling him to leave and never come back. Well, it might not have been never come back, just to leave because he was a prisoner. And normally you don't want to be a prisoner, especially when you're a slave. I mean, he was sold to a priest, so he walked almost 200 miles from Mount Mayo to the Irish coast. If I was him, I'd just walk away from Ireland completely. He escaped back to Britain, where in his writings he also said that he saw an angel, also in his dreams, telling him to go back to Ireland after the Minnesota missionary. He didn't go to Ireland. He went to religious study for 15 years. After he was a priest, he went back to Ireland to minister the Christians who were already living there in Ireland, convert the Irish, which surprisingly contradicts him telling the Irish about Christianity and stuff. I don't know if that was correct, but at this point I don't care. He died March 17th, 461. He died a long time ago. He monetaries. Well, he owns monetaries, churches, and schools. Even though he was said to be the Saint of Ireland, he never actually was canonized by the church due to just a small problem, the era he lived in. After the first millennium, there was no formal canonization program because of the Catholic churches in Ireland. After he was a priest and spreaded his Christianity around the world of Ireland, Patrick was likely to be proclaimed a saint of Ireland. So, some of the legends that are associated with St. Patrick's Day are a legend that is associated with St. Patrick's Day is he got the snakes out of Ireland that were there, told them to go to the sea, literally to the sea. The researchers who were researching this and stuff, the researchers suggest snakes never actually owned the Emerald Isle. There was no signs of fossils, and water was surrounded around Ireland, basically in Ireland. There was a glacial period where it was too cold for any reptiles to live, such as snakes, lizards, geckos. Are alligators reptiles? Or are they? I don't know. Although it is true, St. Patrick's chose to incorporate traditional rituals, and instead of attempting to eradicate the native Irish beliefs, for instance, he used bonfires, have a fire, people come, sit down, talk, maybe there's some food, and he used them to celebrate Easter, which started, was Easter? Whatever, anyways, he started Easter using a bonfire, since fire was used honoring the gods. Also symbolized the sun and a powerful Irish symbol onto the Christian cross to create what is now known as the Celtic cross. The red-haired, green-clothed, short little men we know as leprechauns is commonly associated with St. Patrick's Day. So leprechauns and St. Patrick's Day. The original Irish name for leprechauns, leprechaun, meaning small-bodied fellow or short man. The belief in leprechauns likely stems from the Celtic, still don't know how to say that word, I'm gonna go with Celtic, belief in fairies. Little men and women who would use their magical powers for good or evil. In Celtic folk tales, leprechauns were cranky souls responsible for mending the other fairies' shoes. So a shamrock or a three-leaf clover, these things, are associated with Ireland and St. Patrick for a long time, 400 centuries, a long time. It was called the Seamory and was considered a sacred plant. It was used by St. Patrick to describe the Holy Trinity, King, Queen, and the Holy Man, and the Holy Ghost. The shamrock had become a symbol of emerging Irish nationalism. While the people in Ireland celebrated St. Patrick's Day, the parade of St. Patrick's Day actually started in America. Dun, dun, dun. Actually predates founding of the United States of America. Records show that St. Patrick's Day was celebrated on March 17th, 1601 in a Spanish colony that is now known as St. Augustine, Florida. The parade and the St. Patrick's Day celebration were organized by the Spanish colony's Irish Vicar Ricardo on tour. Boston celebrated its first St. Patrick's Day parade on 1737. That was a while ago. Followed by New York, which celebrated it 1762. Since 1962, Chicago has colored its river green to mark the occasion. Blue was originally the color of St. Patrick's Day. It changed to green. Knights who worked under St. Patrick, their core color for their armor was called St. Patrick's Blue. Why did green become the color of St. Patrick's Day? Irish people in Ireland would dye their beer green.
and they would drink it.
Dyeing the Chicago River. The association probably dates back to the 18th century when the supporters of Irish independence used the color to represent their cause. So the food that you eat on St. Patrick's Day in America, it's corned beef and cabbage. Gross. While ham and cabbage were eaten in Ireland. Corned beef provided a cheaper substance for the Irish immigrants to eat. Irish American people living in the slums of Ireland. No, living in the slums of the lower Manhattan in the late 19th century and the early 20th century purchased leftover corned beef from ships returning from the tea trade from China. The Irish would boil beef 3 times. 3 times seems like a lot. The last time with cabbage. Gross. To remove some of the brine. If you didn't know anything about St. Patrick's Day, well, now you know it. People drank green beer. They dye the Chicago River. It was originally blue. Did not know that. People eat corned beef and cabbage. Gross. He was originally from Britain. Snake thing didn't actually happen, just a legend. So, Aaron, go rock.